Hello, my name is Rich Howard, owner of Architectural Builder Supply, and this video is to bring you a closer look at the Pemko number 4131 BDGRL. 4131 is representative of the fact that this is an automatic door bottom. BDG stands for Bright Dip Gold, as you can see. RL means that you're dealing with an EPDM insert here, a synthetic rubber, high quality seal material. Okay. Pemko is a full line manufacturer of all things automatic door bottom related. This is one typical example of theirs. Certainly very typical in the sense of it being a surface mount or a semi-mortise mount. They also have full mortise mounts as well. Probably a bit less common because it's gold. Don't sell gold often, but nonetheless often enough where they are commercially available. Would certainly complement polished brass hardware that you might have on your door. Okay, so starting from the beginning, Pemko's automatic door bottoms are very popular sorts of items. The principle or the concept of an automatic door bottom is simple. When the door closes, the action of closing the door seals the bottom of the door. You can see right now that the EPDM seal is tucked up inside of the housing, and that's where it always stays until the door closes. How does that happen? Okay, here's how it happens. You can see this end has got a particular detail to it with this little plunger. We're going to call it the plunger. Is different than this end, which does not feature that whatsoever. When this is attached to the door in either a surface mount or a mortise style, a semi-mortise, where you take your router and actually mortise the face of the door all the way down to accept the thickness of the body so that it was mortised flush with the face of the door when it was installed. When that's attached to the door and the door closes, this being mounted on the hinge side of the door, not the lock side. The lock side does not have the plunger. The action of the door closing, because the plunger is extended, this has nowhere to go but in because this is coming in contact with the stop on the frame. This has nowhere to go, so goes in, and the action of this going in, I can push it with my fingers, drops the seal down. You can see that it does so in an uneven sort of fashion, but that's normal. That's how these are supposed to work. This plunger is attached to a flat spring inside of the housing. The other side of the spring is attached to this pin that's here. When the plunger goes in, it forces the flat spring to want to compress. Well, because it's a flat spring, it can't compress. It just bellies. Well, in this case, it bellies. The action of this bellying forces the bottom to drop. That's exactly how these work. Door gets closed, door is closing, closing, closing. This comes in contact with the stop of the frame, goes in, drops the seal down. Therefore, this can only be attached on the push side of the door. That's fundamental. If it's attached on the pull side, it makes contact with nothing. Well, not necessarily. If you have a semi-mortise, it certainly would make contact as well. If it's semi-mortise, it'll make contact with the rabbet of the frame. If it's surface mounted, it would make contact with the stop. I think you've got that figured out. The action of how this works is really great because it drops down like this. So guillotine drops down and then guillotine action comes down like that. Allows you to contour, allows you to seal against even a sill that's not level. Can't do anything wavy, can't contour itself like this, but an uneven sill, this is perfect for it. It really is. It's really fantastic. Pemko has these available in other calibers as well. This is among the standard duty sorts of items. The amount of projection that the plunger is engaged in when you initially install this is directly related to the amount of drop that the item will handle. I'm turning it in by hand so it doesn't stick out as much, and therefore it's going to drop less because it's got less, compression on the flat spring because it's tucked in. It must have some sort of two-sided thread situation on the inside. So install it, leave it stick out just a little bit, then begin to test your door, and then adjust this as needed. Obviously, screws are included to hold the body to the door. There's 4 of them, but on this model you'd only need 3. There is a screw that you're going to attach to the jamb. That is to make contact with the plunger, so that every time the plunger is not gouging into the wood frame. Install this flush so that this comes in contact with it every time, like that. Okay. You're going to get 2 plates. They're just black stamped metal plates that will cover off the end of this and the end of this. Obviously, they're different shapes because the hinge side will have the hole in it for the plunger to come through, and then tiny little screws to hold them on, and they go right into this feature of the extrusion here and here. Those 2 little C's, that letter C that you see there, that's where those screws go into. Looking at the rest of the extended description, the only thing to make note is this is intended to handle gaps of about 3/4 inch. Okay, much more than that, and it's not going to work very well. They always send an advisory: don't cut this end. You clearly have to trim this down in most instances, and if you don't want to, by all means, order the next longest piece or pieces, and indicate in the comment field what length you'd like for us to cut the material back to, and we'll ship it out already cut for you. You know, if you're going to surface mount this, door needs to be closed, measure between the stops, and then deduct about 1/8 of an inch, and that would be a really good size for you to run with. If you're going to go for for the mortise design, you'd go for pretty much the width of the door. The only complaint that I've kind of heard about these, and I think it's valid in the sense that it's legitimate, but it's also, you know, if I sold 1,000 of these, if I've sold 100, if I've sold 10,000 of these, I've heard this complaint once. You hear that? Snaps up. Every time you open the door, you're going to hear that snap. People have complained that it's too loud. Yeah, I understand. But nonetheless, it's a very elegant way to solve a problem, and it works really well. These things are known to last for decades. Because the seal is not dragging across anything, and all it's doing is mating up to the top of it, it will last an extremely long time. Some people have even ordered replacement seal right away for this, but store it in a dark, dry place because it'll be a long time, in my opinion, before you'd ever really need it. People that use these want to seal out, obviously, you know, exterior doors, and they're very elegant. You might have a great disparity between sill and inside flooring condition. You might have carpeting, hardwood, something that's made that difficult where you don't want to drag a sweep across the top of the floor. This solves that problem perfectly. Also, people buy these that want to, they might create an amateur or a sound studio in their basement sort of situation. I sell these to guys like that all the time. It's a very inexpensive way of going about getting a bit of sound seal for your buck, that's for sure. If I have not already said it, available in several different finishes as well. Pemko is a full-line manufacturer of all things weather stripping related, not only automatic door bottoms like this, something a bit less common, but the typical material. Perimeter weather stripping, door sweeps, thresholds. They have a full line of residential hardware as well, oak sort of thresholds, adjustable top thresholds, Curved-in style weather stripping, and they also have a full line of sliding door hardware, track hangers for bypass, pocket, bifold, you know, sorts of bypassing sorts of installations. If you have any questions on the Pemko 4131BDGRL automatic door bottom or any other Pemko product, please feel free to reach out to us. Thank you.